Barbarian. Let's start with Barbarian, right? So Barbarian, they basically have two specs you play in PvP. You have Headhunting, which is like a ranged throwing guy, right? Big range, big dashes, big healing, big CC, right? Very annoying to play against as a Venomancer. They can see you from a mile away, right? They straight up just see you from a mile away. They see you from like 20 yards away, by the way, with your stealth. And they also have, I don't know if, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if, I think that's a headhunting thing. I'm not sure like the melee spec can do that. The other spec, I believe it's called like brutality, right? Two-handed spec. Two-handed spec can do some giga one-shots, right? You get stunned, they crush you, you die, basically. But after they've used a one-shot, they're kind of useless. But headhunting, I would say headhunting is probably like hard, right? Because I can't just counter crush with burrow, especially now that they buffed, like they've changed burrow so it's now usable in spider form. So I would probably say Barbarian is like, I would say headhunting could be A tier against Venomancer. I think I've heard Felsworn also kind of struggles against Barbarian because they just dash so much and they can just outrange them. But because of their melee spec, which is kind of, it can be good. It got some big one shots, but it's not that strong. I think I'm gonna put it at B. Until I'm gonna put it at B to start off with. Maybe I'll change it around a bit, right? Also, Barbarian in Arena, headhunting is really good. In BGs, headhunting also seems really good. Both in Arena and BGs, headhunting Barbarian seems pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in B so far. Brutality is like B tier, I would say. S++ tier. Should I have an S++ tier? Wait, you might be too. I mean, like, could this? Okay, wait, hold on. Yeah, good idea. Okay, now it changes a bit. I think I'll put Barbarian in A then. I'll put Barbarian in A. I think Barbarian is now going to be A tier. Because it's not S tier. Not S++ tier, but just because of headhunting and brutality got its moments, I think I'm going to put it in A now. This is wider, right? Bloodmage. Again, I have not seen this that often. Their melee spec seems kind of ass. Their caster spec seems kind of ass. They just kind of die in PvP. I might be wrong, but I don't see them. I don't see them ever. When I have seen them, they aren't the worst. I put them in C tier. They don't have the best. They don't seem to have that good like, survivability as the DPS. You play them tank and you don't really deal that much damage. You're just annoying, right? I'll put them C tier. Bang. Chronomancer. Chronomancer is I think it's a very underrated class. No one's playing Chronomancer. I know Cholog is playing Chronomancer there, like another streamer. And I do see some Chronomancers here and there, but I don't like. No one's playing Chronomancer. But the ones I have seen, they don't seem too bad, right? It's a bit weird because they are squishy, right? They are a full cloth thrower, but they do have their moments, right? Straight up. But they're not giga good. They're not broken. They do have their moments. I think I'm gonna put them in B tier for now. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know the big difference between the two DPS specs. I know the Warren spec can push out some pretty good damage, but I don't know about the other spec. I feel like I see Warren spec mostly, right? But they're not bad as Bloodmages. They do have some big survivability with the like timeless shield, or what is it called, time shield, right? But they are cloth, they are one-shotty. Personally, as a Venomancer, I don't have the biggest problems against them. I can lose against them, right? It's not like 100% win, but they're not the hardest to beat. Because I feel like Venomancers just kind of counter them. They have 3 charges of a slow. I just shapeshift and I'm out of it, right? They have roots. I just shapeshift and I'm out of it. So they're not the biggest problem. Cultist. Okay. Cultist is interesting. Cultist has 2 main specs. They have 2 like DPS specs that I see in arenas and PvP in general. They have caster spec, they have melee spec. Caster spec is pretty good. A lot of CC, a lot of damage. They have a big, like, if you don't trinket this, you just die. It feels like as a Felsworn or as a Venomancer, right? They have like a big, like, suppression, overwhelming suppression or something, where they like, and you die, right? If I don't trinket it, I just die. They also have, I think it's called Godblade, their melee spec, right? They have that where, again, they pop their cooldowns. They use their if you don't have something, like if I don't have burrow against it, I also, again, I just die, right? But the problem with Godblade, if I do have my cooldowns, and if I can burrow, and they use all their cooldowns to try and kill me, they just die, right? They have their one shot, and that is it. They don't have anything else. But it still seems like a pretty good spec. You know, if they play correctly, unsupervised class. I remember that. Dude, that's so funny. Whenever I see a cultist, I'm like, oh, it's an unsupervised class. But yeah, straight up, like, if I trinket and burrow the which I don't need to do it. I don't need to do that anymore, by the way. I can use burrow in spider form now. So I think Godblade is going to be easy for me. But if they play correctly, they like hold their one shot, I'm dead, right? And also, ranged is pretty good. It's not a 100% loss for me. If they play good, I just die, right? I think Cultist is a skill matchup for me, at least. There's some classes where it's like, I play Venomancer, you play this class, I just die. But Cultist seems like a skill matchup. I think I'm actually gonna put it in S. It's a very good class. A lot of utility, big heals, big absorbs, big CC, big one-shots. Can also kill you without one-shots. Except Godblade is kinda... Godblade is very one-shotty. If they don't one-shot you, they just kinda live. Okay, the fun one. Felsworn. The Felsworn has 3 specs. And all of them, I see all of them in PvP all the time. You have your range spec, which had a giga bug, right? A giga bug that made them able to use Eye of Sargeras and cancel it and still get the buff that it gave, where you can just spam your runes. You can spam things that cost like fel shards or whatever. They can just spam rune on you while you run around, right? You can dash around, use all their CC, spam the rune, and you would just die. Even without that bug, they are still very good. Because they got 3 dashes, Ice Block, an Absorb Shield, Spell Steal, Mana Drain, Stuns, Big Heal, right? They have all the things, they have everything. I don't know which class, I don't know which specs have what. I think all of the specs have all that. I think maybe it's only tank gets Big Heal, I'm not sure. Ranged, big damage. Big, they just stick on you, big damage. Big one shot, even without the one shot, they just deal so much damage. Melee, DPS, right? Big damage, big shield, big one shot, and you just die. Tank, just can't die, right? Big one shot, still deals 1,000,000 damage, right? Even with the nerfs, they deal so much damage, and they are so tanky. And as CoA in my chat wrote, it is indeed the most popular, I think it is the most popular class. S++. I have S++ specifically designed for this class and another class I'm gonna get to way later. Guardian. So I don't know much about Guardian, I'm gonna be honest. I never see Guardian, ever. I never see a class. They do also, again, they do have their moments. They can one-shot. How? I don't know. Okay? I don't know how they one-shot, because I don't know the class. I've seen it. I think I played Arena against a Guardian 3 times. Also, like Bloodmage, 3 times. But they do have some one-shots, and they seem pretty tanky. I think it might be the least played class. But I think it could be sleeper OP. Could be sleeper OP. Yeah, Felsworn is also an unsupervised class. Straight up, right? Whoever made that class, unsupervised. Straight up. No doubt in my mind. Guardian can one-shot. I don't see them ever. I don't really know what they do outside of trying to one-shot you. They are also pretty tanky. I think I'm gonna have to put it in C tier. Just because I don't see them ever. They do try and one-shot, but they don't seem too strong. Also, no one plays it. Knight of Xoroth, right? In my opinion, Knight of Xoroth is a one-shot class. It's one of the classes where it's like, you one-shot, and then that's it, right? That's what you do. You just one-shot, bang. That's it. I don't really know the big difference between the specs. There's a spec, the spec most people use, unless this is both specs, I'm not sure. It's like some spec where you can like drag people around, you stun them, you drag them around, and they can't move, and they just die. I never see the tank spec. Tank spec is not played in PvP, as far as I know. I've never seen it. Knight of Xoroth is a one-shot class, but again, if you just have something that makes you able to just live it, like Burrow as a Venomancer, you will have a bigger chance of winning. But I feel like Knight of Xoroth can also win without their one-shot, right? They still have something that kind of on me as a Venomancer. I'm gonna put it in B tier. Actually, no, I'm gonna put it in A tier, actually. It's pretty strong against me as a Venomancer, it feels like. A lot of CC, a lot of like, they have like the like drag, but they don't have that much mobility. Oh, that's a lie. They do have their Warhorse. They do have their Warhorse. Horse build, pretty crazy, right? And they get me, they can just get you out of stealth incredibly fast because they use their horse and they get you, like they hit you while in stealth. I think I'm gonna put it in A tier, and I think I'm gonna already now. I'm gonna put Barbarian in S tier. I think just because of headhunting, Barbarian S tier, brutality, Barbarian A tier, straight up. Maybe should add tier. Haven't seen, no opinion for like Guardian. I'm gonna put it here actually. I'm gonna put them down there because I don't see these. I don't see these ever. Right now, Xoroth is all right. It's pretty good. It's not bad. I think I do lose. I do lose more than I win against now Xoroth just because of their sheer giga damage they have. They have giga damage. A Necromancer. I don't know the big difference between death and animation, so I don't really know which one of those specs are really good. They do have a spec where they spawn a ton of minions. It's pretty good, but if I can outrun it and just out-sustain their like big minion frenzy stuff, and I play correctly, they just kind of die. Also, I can get free like brood marks or Bloodmage brood marks on, you know, their pets. They do have a massive shield, and they are pretty tanky. I would say, even though they are a cloth wearer, they are pretty tanky. They have a lot of health, a lot of stamina. I would put Necromancer. I think I'm gonna put it side to side of Chronomancer, just in terms of how hard they are to beat. I would say Chronomancer is easier for me to beat than Necromancer, but I wouldn't say Necromancer is like giga good. I can win against them if I just outrun them. They just kind of die eventually because they run out of minions. Rhyme, I never really see Rhyme, so I don't really know that much about. I never really play against them, so I don't really know what they can do. Primalist, a funny class. Primalist was just nerfed. The healing was nerfed max level. It went from 10,040 healing on the Hand of the Earth Mother, which is like the spammable heal, to 880, which is, I mean, it's an alright nerf. I don't know how much it affected them, right? I haven't really seen them that often. I haven't played Arena since like yesterday, I think, or a few days ago. So I haven't seen them that much. But assuming that they're still pretty strong, they seem pretty strong. I think it's A tier. A good Primalist can definitely put it in S tier. Definitely put it S tier. Just from like what I felt so far, right? If it's a very good Primalist, I die, right? They just out heal me and I just die. If it's a alright Primalist, it's A tier, right? It's in their favor. They win way more against me. Felsworn destroying entire class pool, better nerf Primalist. I mean, okay, to be fair, Primalist healing was insane. I will say it was like way too much healing. But yeah, I must say they did heal way too much. I will say good Primalist S tier, mid Primalist A tier, right? Also, if they are playing the support spec, I would say it's A tier, or maybe even B tier. Support spec is A or B tier. They do have a lot of survivability, but in the end, I just kill them as Venomancer because of my Widowmaker. When I play Stalking, my Widowmaker like just reduces the healing done by like 50%, and I can just keep it up forever, basically, right? So support, right? B tier, bad. Melee. I don't know the name of the spec. Hold on, let me check. Okay, Primalist, I guess. I think that's the name of it. The DPS melee spec, right? You go to people go two-handed, and they just deal so much damage, right? Meh. Two-handed DPS spec is A tier. Good two-handed DPS player is S tier. So I think I'm gonna put it in A tier. I'm gonna put it in A tier actually. Support is kind of meh. I just win against them because they can't out sustain me. I feel like two-handed DPS spec is A tier. Good players is S tier, but I would say it's easier for me to beat than Barbarian Cultist. I win against Primalist way more than I win against. Primalist damage is trash. Yeah, a bit. Like, they do have a big one-shot, and they do have a lot of dots. Like, they have some big taunt to shred dot that deals a shit ton of damage. But their main problem is self-sustain, but Widowmaker kind of counters it, so that's why I'm going to put it in A. Pyromancer. Pyromancer is another cloth wearer. I don't know the big difference between the two specs, but they do have a big one-shot. They have a lot of fears and, like, disorients, right? They have, like, big one-shot, big dots, and then they just fucking, like, they eat the dots, you die, right? But again, it's one of those specs where if I can burrow, like if I can invulnerability myself to their like one-shots, I'm kind of fine. They have like one blink. That's pretty much it of their mobility. They might have some movement speed increase. I'm not sure. You know, they can't really follow me as a Venomancer, right? When I'm playing Stalking, I just dot them up and I run, right? They can't do much against that. Explode build seems way more used in like arenas, I feel like. I don't know if it's the same thing, but they use Explode on you. They use some like cooldown and they just spam Explode. But again, if I can burrow it, they're depressed, right? Just like the other cloth wearers, I'm gonna put it in B tier because they don't giga kill me. They can kill me, right? But they're not giga damage. Okay, Ranger. Ranger is also extremely underplayed. I would say Guardian is probably still less played than Ranger, but Ranger is also extremely underplayed. I have never seen dual wield like stealth Ranger. Never seen it, right? I've never played against an arena. I don't think I've seen it in BGs. I haven't noticed it at least, right? Their range spec can put out some pretty good damage, right? straight up. They can put out some pretty good damage, but they're not too strong. I don't know completely what they do. They do have some pretty good burst, but they also just kind of they can't really do much. It feels like against Stalking Venomancer, right? They just kind of die. Like in BGs, I think they can pop off in BGs, but I have seen them way more than Guardian and Bloodmage, but they're not that good. They might be underrated, but they're not that good. Playing as a Stalking Venomancer 1v1s, they do kind of just kill over and die. I dot them up, I run around them a little bit, and they just die. Also, their support spec seems pretty alright. I remember one time in Eye of the Storm, they had like a support ranger. I don't know exactly what their numbers are, right? But it seemed to be doing some work, but that's pretty much it. I can't really. Maybe I'll put it in Siege here. I think I'll actually just put it in Siege here. I think it's a Siege here. I don't see them. When I do, they just die, right? They do have some big bursts. I died to one ranger at some point because I just didn't know what the he did. I don't know the buttons. I've never seen them. But back to Reaper. Now again, this class, I think I'm in the minority here. I've heard people say that Reaper sucks. Reaper's not good. I disagree because it feels like their whole kit is made to just counter Venomancer. They have two charges of limbo, which is, by the way, like their melee spec, their melee DPS spec, the soul. So the soul spec, right? The soul spec, they have 2 charges of limbo, which makes them unkillable, removes all effects on them. They just remove all my dots, and they just kill me. They go stealth. They use all the shit on me, right? 5 seconds. 5 seconds, immune to all harmful effects, and instantly restoring health. It can be used while stunned. They have 2 charges of that, right? 2 charges. I think it's like a 3-minute cooldown or something. 2 charges. They also have a movement speed removal, a root removal in 1. Also 2 charges of that, by the way. They have insane damage. Wow, they have insane damage, right? With like their soul rod. Holy, they deal so much damage. They have some big dot too. I don't know what it is. I think that might be soul rod. Billions of damage, right? They go stealth. They open on you. They can, by the way, zap you from like 20 yards away. It feels like, right? They zap you. They open on you. Remove half your health. Apply some big dot to you. And they just stealth again. They vanish. Bang. They're gone again. They open on you again. You die. That is literally every single time I see a Reaper playing. If they play Soul, two-handed, especially two-handed. Dual wield, I lose mostly against dual wield too. But I can win against dual wield. If it's a two-handed Soul Reaper, I am just dead. I cannot do anything. Now, if they're playing Harvest, which is the other like blood two-handed spec, I have a way easier time. Way easier. It doesn't do nearly as much damage. It feels like they have some like stuns and stuff, but I don't really care about them. Like they just kind of die. So Harvest is fine for me. But most people do play Soul, and I just die. I'm gonna put this in S tier. I guarantee you, people don't agree with this. But as a Venomancer stalking in 1v1 arenas, mostly, it's unplayable. I just die, right? They have everything. The melee spec that lets them attack you while they say stealth and gives them a mimic thing is really good. The damage is nuts. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Soul. That's Soul. They become like a little ghost. And they attack you while in stealth, by the way. They kill you, then they stealth again, they vanish, remove all that, like everything, right? 2 charges of Cloak of Shadows, basically, and then they just live. They just live. Insane spec. That is plus, right? Is it this plus? Nah. Just because Harvest is not that bad, right? I'll put it S. But man. Anyways. Runemaster has, I think it's 3 damage specs, right? They have a cast spec and 2 melee specs. Riftblade is like a 2-handed spec. People have figured out something about Fracture. I think that might be a bug, but I think it's been fixed now, right? But 2-handed Riftblade, where they use like Fracture, and they use their Figure Strike, pew, 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 pew. Most of the time, even if I do burrow, they kind of just kill me in 1v1s. I just die. Even if I do burrow it, sometimes they go Giga right? Sometimes if they go Giga they die, right? They use a lot of mana doing like different. They use their one-shot and then they go When they are they just die. They just die. With the one-shot, 2-handed spec thing, right? I'm not really sure about Runic. I don't think I've seen Runic that often, I'm gonna be honest. So Arcane does seem kind of strong. Arcane do have some one-shots, I feel like. No, they don't have like giga one-shots, but they do have a lot of sustained damage. They have like a lot of mobility. They like alright mobility. They have a lot of CC. Wow. Oh yeah, when I play against a Glyphic caster or a Runemaster caster, they have so much CC. They have so much CC. It is insane. And they just kind of kill me, right? I run out of things to do. I can't run from them. They keep slowing me. They keep like rooting me. They keep like stunning me. It's stuns most of them. Like stun. Blast me, I just die. Two-handed spec. Also, if they play good, I just die. But I don't really know about the one-handed spec. I'm not sure. I haven't seen one-handed in a bit. Ever since they figured out that people figured out that fracture is really good. But I think when I put it in A tier, I can win against it. Not as bad as these classes. Anyways, Starcaller. Starcaller is indeed a class, right? If I made this tier list a week ago, I would put Starcaller in C tier because everyone played it tank. But now, because people are actually playing Starcaller melee DPS, Starcaller tank, which for some reason is very popular, is the easiest class for me to beat. I don't think I think I've lost against a Starcaller tank once, and that was because I didn't know that they could like, I didn't notice that they were like reflecting, right? So I used Widowmaker, which is like a combo spender that deals a lot of damage. I used that and it hit myself and I think it crit, so I just instantly died, right? But in general, if you're playing Starcaller tank and you're against me as a Venomancer stalking, I just win, always. You just die, right? If I just, you know, don't use Widowmaker 5 combo points into a reflect, I just win, always. Their range spec is pretty much the same. Range spec, you just die. Like, I just win, right? Because they root, I just shapeshift out of it, right? They slow, I just shapeshift out of it. Even if they use their, like, light thing and they get me out of stealth, I just win. Like, I just win. But their melee spec, DPS spec, I don't know what the f does, because everyone has been playing tank, so this might be a skill issue, but it seems to be doing a lot of damage, and I do kind of struggle against melee Starcaller, melee DPS Starcaller in 1v1s, 100%. Not sure about BGs, but melee Starcaller in arenas, I kind of just lose because they deal so much damage all of a sudden. I don't know what their button is. They use like Luna Lance or something, and I just die. They just deal like 2.2k crit, and I'm just dead. Tank Starcaller and range Starcaller, they just die, right? I win always, because I kind of counter their class, it feels like, right? So I think I'm gonna have to put this in B tier, just because of the melee spec. If this was a week ago, where I literally have never played against a single melee DPS Starcaller, because everyone was playing either tank or the range spec, right? Then I would I would have put it in C tier. But now, because I've seen melee, like melee DPS, B tier, right? Melee DPS against a Venomancer is B tier. If people only played melee DPS, it would probably go up in ranks, straight up, because I just die, right? But that might be a skill issue. I don't know their buttons yet. I'd never see them, right? Until like recently. I never see melee DPS until recently, at least. Stormbringer. Stormbringer is weird. Stormbringer is a class. I'm not sure what spec it is, but whatever spec that has Arm of Thorin, I'm gonna try and figure out. Lightning. Yeah, lightning. Lightning spec, Maelstrom. Very annoying, extremely annoying. I want to smack my table annoying. They have 3 knockbacks, right? That's like a buff. They put like a buff in themselves with 3 knockbacks. Each time you melee them, you fly back. You melee them, you fly back. You melee them, you fly back. They have unlimited fears, right? They have insane amounts of fears, right? Fear. They have a knockback, right? Some stuns, right? But their whole thing is they're also just a one-shot class, it feels like. They go lightning elemental form or whatever, right? They use Arm of Thorin, I die, right? If I don't do something about getting hit with Arm of Thorin in their lightning form, I die. But if I do survive the Arm of Thorin, right, and they use all their cooldowns, which they normally just do instantly, because that's the whole, it seems like the whole class is just use all cooldowns, click Arm of Thorin. If they do that and they don't kill me, I just win, right? They're very annoying. Wow, they're so annoying. Their wind spec, I think that's what it's called, the wind spec. I don't know much about wind spec. I never see it. If I'm gonna be honest, I never really see it. So I don't really have an opinion on wind spec. I don't remember a single time I've seen it. I'm basing this off of their Maelstrom spec or lightning spec, whatever it's called. Lightning spec. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this in B tier also. It's gonna be a lot of B tiers. A lot of B tiers. But I'm gonna put this in B tier simply because they just kind of die after using their one shots. They're very, very annoying to play against, right? I almost put it C tier because again, after one shots they just die. But Ranger doesn't have fun. I don't think Ranger is having like that much fun right now. Again, this tier list is made by a Venomancer primarily focus on what feels bad against a Venomancer, right? Okay, Sun Cleric. I don't see Sun Clerics that often. Their caster spec seems kind of mid, but their Sunburst spec, whatever they have that uses Sunburst deals a shit ton of damage. A Sun Slam. It's called like Sun something, Slam or something, right? That seems to be doing a lot of damage. They do have a big one-shot, but I wouldn't say it's like giga bad. Again, I actually haven't seen Sun Cleric that often. There's not that many people that really play it, but Sun Slam or whatever it's called seems to be dealing a lot of damage. The caster spec seems alright in PGs, right? It's not really, it doesn't seem that one-shotty. It can pump out some good damage, but it's kind of mid, I would say. But they do have one-shots. I would say this is also B tier. This is going to be a very long B tier list, but you know, all these classes are kind of mid. Yeah. Templar. Okay, Templar. I have like a short on my YouTube of me like going crazy because I was like this close to killing a Templar, and he healed to full. He silenced me for 6 seconds, healed to full, and then one-shot me. Templars are kind of struggling a bit because they don't have that much mobility. They have a horse. If they don't have a horse, they're kind of sad. They can't really do much. Melee classes go top. Actually, like it's all melee. I'm not gonna lie. All melee. No, I can't even lie, except Starcaller is down here and some Cleric guys. It's all melee. But Templar, people say Templar is really bad in PP. I think, people say it's really bad, but people say it's kind of meh, right? But two-handed Templar, I think two-handed Templar is called Crusader. It is hard for me to win against because they do have a silence, they have a stun, they have a mount, healing, and they have a one-shot, but they need to build it up, right? But so if you can run around the Felsworn, or if you can run around the Templar and make them lose their Oathbreaker, they cry a lot, right? But I will put Templar in A tier against me as a Venomancer. I do have a talent. I straight up just took the talent called Toxic Stride, just so I could use that before they silence me, because it makes me immune to silence for 15 seconds. But I can't use it while I'm silenced. I need to use it before. Celerity is not a spec. I've not seen a single Celerity player. I want to play Celerity, which is like a dual wield Templar spec, like dual wield Paladin. But I've heard it's really bad, and I've not seen a single one. Everyone's playing the two-handed spec. Every single person. Everyone's playing Crusader. But Crusader is A tier, it feels like, against me as a Venomancer Stalking. Other people probably put it further down because they don't have much mobility. And if they do run out of mobility, and you can outrun their, like, so they can't use their Oathbreaker, they die. They just die. Okay, next class, A. This is why we have S++, because there's more than one class there. I'm just gonna put it up. Tinker. Tinker is one of the classes of all time. It's at least one of the 21 classes. Tinker is A class. Wow, this class is super giga broken. So, Tinkers, the spec I see the most, and the spec that is the most broken, is Mechanism. Whatever the Mechanism where they have the big ass spider mech and they just start running around in a big spider mech, right? That is so giga broken. They have a 1 minute duration heal over time that heals so much. They have a 1 minute duration mana over time which heals so much. They have a big mech they go into, and this mech has insane movement speed, just base movement speed, insane movement speed. It is insane how fast this mech runs. I cannot explain to you how fast it runs. Other than that, right? Other than just having giga movement speed, they also have dashes, and they have a channeled castable while moving ability called Gatling Gun that deals so much damage. And because it's channeled, right? Because it's channeled, they can cast it on you, and if you run behind a wall, they still shoot you. They cast it on you. You run away behind a wall because I'm a Stalking Venomancer. I run behind walls because I play like that. You know, that's how we gotta play as a Stalking Venomancer. It's kind of cringe. I know. I gotta play it. They just keep shooting me behind a wall, by the way. Other than that, they have turrets, stuns, giga healing, crazy tanky. I can't win. Tinkers, the only chance I have of winning against a Tinker Mechanism is to open on them and just send it. Just send it. I cannot run. I cannot stun them. I cannot root them. I cannot do anything. I have to just open on them, spam my damage abilities, and hope they die. If they don't die, I die. Always. I can't win. Now, Demolition, which is like the bomb spec, is also pretty good. It is way easier to win against those than Mechanism, because Mechanism is just so insane. But Demolition is also good. But Mechanism is the S++ tier thing. I would say Demolition is probably S. Extremely good. Both in Arena and BGs. That class, I don't understand why then it's not nerfed. Because apparently the way that they stay in the big mech form is they just, as long as they damage you, they gain scrap. And scrap is like something that ticks down. When it goes, when it like disappears, they lose their mech form. But again, they can shoot you through the wall. By the way, they shoot you through the wall. Because it's channeled, castable while moving, Gatling gun ability that they use before you're behind the wall. They click it on you, you run behind the wall, and they just doesn't matter. And they have a turret, right? So even if you run around the wall and they can't hit you, that turret will kill you. They wanted to put it on the ground. I don't get it. Yeah, but bang, S++. 100% S++. Venomancer. This is my spec. This is my spec, right? This is spec I play all the time. Venomancer is pretty good, but I feel like there's a lot of things that kind of shit on me. Felsworn Tenga, of course. Reaper kind of shit on me, right? Reaper Soul on me. Headhunting Barbarian shit on me. Cultist Caster can shit on me pretty hard. Runemaster shit on me. Templar Giga shit. I think I'm gonna do this. Templar Giga shit on me too, right? But Rut is incredibly good in BGs. Insane damage, right? It's a dot spec, so I just put dots up on everyone and they just kind of slowly die. I do have like a 2-minute cooldown, big burst, right? Sepsis Bloom, which basically pops their dots and they die, or they take a lot of damage. But it's a 2-minute cooldown and it's a bit cooked. Stalking Spider Form seems pretty good in 1v1 arenas. Now, so far they seem pretty alright. I think I would put Venomancer in A tier, right? The healing spec can be pretty strong in battlegrounds, but I don't think the healing spec is as good as I don't think Venomancer is as good as like Venomancer healer is not as good as like Pyromancer or Chronomancer healer. It feels like Cultist healer. I don't see them very often. Like I don't see Venomancer healers that often. Venomancer Rut pretty good BGs. Stalking pretty good 1v1s, but I do get completely shit on by these 5 classes. Most of the time I lose against these classes. Soul Reaper is almost S++. I'm almost gonna put it on this, but just because there's like a spec that's just kind of bad, like they play like not Rut melee spec, then you know I put it S, right? So the Harvest is worse than Soul, at least it seems against me, right? But yeah, I'm gonna put it as an A. It's not S tier. I think other classes are just better than mine, right? I feel like it's kind of it's a bit above average, like above the middle, but Venomancer is not the best class. I'm Giga on base though because I play Venomancer, but I feel like, do we need a buff? I don't think we need a Giga buff, right, to be good. But I just think these classes need a nerf. This is Witch Doctor. Now, Witch Doctor is a class also. It's a very good class. Shadow hunting, they want the bow, and they're like totems and reclamation. Very good, right? Pretty good. They put down their mimic wards. They use spirit volley on you, and you die unless you can outrun it. Now, as a Venomancer, it's a skill matchup, because if the Witch Doctor knows that I will run away from the totems as soon as they put them down, they go to like the start of the battleground or the start of the arena or something, and they just wait for me, then I'll have a hard time, because they can probably get a spirit volley or 2 off, right? And they deal a lot of damage. Like, wow, their one shot is crazy. I haven't seen that much voodoo. Voodoo seems alright. It seems worse than Voodoo seems way worse than headhunting, at least, or shadow hunting. But it still seems pretty good. But headhunting seems very strong. Also, Witch Doctors have a lot of utility. Or shadow hunting, not headhunting. Shadow hunting seems really good. Witch Doctors also have a lot of utility. They have an invuln, they have slows, heals, they have a snake form where they like slither fast, like a dash. They have a bunch of stuff. They have a stealth too. I think I would actually put Witch Doctor in like low S. It's a solid class. It's almost A tier, right? Almost A tier. But it is very strong, and they have some insane burst. And I think they have 2 charges of the mimic totems, which basically like they just mimic your abilities. So you use Spirit Volley, which already deals a shit ton of damage, but you spawn 3 mimic totems. So they also use Spirit Volley, and you're instantly, when I open on them, they usually get me down to like 20-30% health instantly. Just Spirit Volley, bang. And if I don't run, I'm dead. They also have a bunch of wards that just shoot you, like Serpent Ward. It's very good. I feel like my class probably has it easier against them than maybe other classes. If you don't have like mobility or something, I think you just get f***ed on, because if you cannot run away from the Spirit Wards or the Mimic Wards, and you cannot kill the Mimic Wards fast enough, you die. But I would say Witch Doctor is low S, almost A tier, but it's a good class. Witch Hunter, the last class. Witch Hunter. This class is rarely played, very rarely played. They have quite a bit of utility. They have some different tonics and drinks they can use to like gain like, you know, damage reduction. They gain damage increase, they heal, they can remove things, right? They have traps too that trap you, root you, or stun you, or, you know, like that, right? They also do have as Inquisition, like the dual wield spec. I think you can play two-handed. The dual wield spec, or like the one with Flourish, I think it's called, where they have like a buff and stuff, where they just like damage themselves, right? That does deal a lot of damage, and I will say I do think that Witch Hunter is slept on. I think it's way too underrated. Not many people plays it. I see it very, very rarely. The Bolt Slinger, I think it's called, the one where they have like Heart Seeker thing. That seems okay. They have some good bursts with like Heart Seek arrow, and they have like another arrow they can use. But they just kind of, when I'm playing against them as Venomancer Stalking, they kind of just die. But the Inquisition spec can one-shot, but they're not the best. I think I'm going to put it low B. I'll put it above Starcaller though, because I feel like I see them a little bit, like I lose against them more often, just because a lot of Starcaller players play tank and I just win.